abandoned, knowing that if they turn it around, we will be better for it.
In its next edition, Changing Tides shall examine the views canvassed by some stakeholders that the full implementation of the new auto policy should wait until Nigeria fixes the prevailing infrastructure deficit, especially as it relates to regular supply of electricity and some perceived deficiencies in the area of transportation, particularly rail transportation, all of which are considered crucial for the success of the auto policy. You will also hear that progress is already being made in dealing with these, and that no nation that is serious in transforming its fortunes will wait until all the socio-economic and infrastructure problems confronting its transformation agenda are eliminated completely before embarking on the implementation of the agenda. The public enlightenment to promote a better understanding of the new auto policy will definitely shift into top gear in the next edition of Changing Tides. A giant in the sun, rich in human and natural resources, a land of cultural diversity for tourists' appreciation. Nigeria occupies 923,766 square kilometers, accommodating over 250 indigenous languages. It is a wonderful environment for leisure and business. Nigeria, land of milk and honey, a paradise for tourists.
Nigeria needs peace and stability. Achieve our goals in unity. We are brothers and sisters, we've lived together for years now. Say no to violence now. Sing it with me. Peace, peace, peace. Let's all embrace peace. We are brothers and sisters, we've lived together for years now. Say no to violence now. No religion preaches violence. We need understanding and tolerance. You can be you, I can be me, that's the way it should be. Say no to violence now. Sing it one more time. Peace, peace, peace. Let's all embrace peace. In the family, in schools, at work, everywhere. Say no to violence now. Fascinating Nigeria.
Africa's biggest market. Extraordinary. Fascinating. Nigeria.
For Nigeria, the tides are changing indeed, and for the better. Enduring signposts of this transformation abound for all to see. The revival of the railways after nearly 20 years of abandonment is apparent. Food security is being vigorously promoted with subsidized agricultural inputs now more accessible to farmers. Add this to the remodeling of the nation's airports and the ongoing construction of 5 new international airport terminals, and you're assured that the tides are indeed changing. changing. Take a look at Nigeria's auto assembly plants, formerly dormant.
The glory of God, for I use to develop our people.
President Jonathan commissions new Kaduna Government House, calls for continuity in project's completion.
I wish to hereby formally notify all of you of my membership of the All Progressive Congress.
Speaker, House of Representatives Amin Waziri Tambwal jumps ship. And Senate calls for foreign involvement in addressing humanitarian crisis in the Northeast geopolitical zone. Welcome to NTA Network News. My name is Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. President Goodluck Jonathan has again stressed the need for continuity in completion of ongoing projects by those in leadership positions, noting that government is a continuous process. The president stated this while commissioning the multi-billion naira new Kaduna Government House complex. He also held a meeting with traditional rulers from across Kaduna State on peace. Abdullahi Garba Benankudu has the report.
The glory of God, for I use to develop our people.
The new Kaduna Government House complex is constructed within the historic Sir Kashim Ibrahim House. The project was initiated by the Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambu in 2008 as the then Governor of the state for the state to have a befitting government house of his status at the capital of the Old North region. The project, with Governor's Office, a council chambers, among other facilities, was executed at a cost of over 9.6 billion naira. President Goodluck Jonathan commended the Vice President for the initiative and Governor Yero for completing the project, which he says should be emulated as government is a continuous process. He used the event to restate government commitment to the actualization of government transformation agenda, especially in power supply and agricultural development.
As a nation, we are largely agrarian people, and Kaduna State contributes significantly to our food security. In this direction, our focus in the agriculture and water resources sector has seen us completing the Galma Dam at Kozuntu that, of course, the governor did mention, as well as the Gurara Dam. It is pertinent to know that these major multipurpose dams have dual capacity for power generation as well as irrigation, so that our farmers will have water throughout the year.
Governor Mukhtar Ramalan Nyaru says Kaduna State government is committed about completion of several developmental projects, and the new government house is one out of many.
I am pleased to announce that while the new governor's office has been completed, the other projects are at various stages of completion. The 150 million litre Zaria water project is at 88% completion, and the 300-bed specialty hospital is about 67% completion.
The new Government House Council Chambers was the venue of the meeting between the President and the Kaduna State Council of Chiefs, led by the Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Shehu Idris, where issues of security and peace promotion took center stage.
I did not know how I became a Bayelsan. It's God that dropped me in the swamps of the Niger Delta. I could have been born in Kaduna State, I could have been born in Sokoto State, I could have been born in Katsina State, but I found myself there. And I grew up in an environment where there was a church, and I automatically became a Christian. So we think that the God we worship, luckily both Bible and Quran separate the pagans from those who worship God.
Your Excellency, I want to use this good opportunity to make a passionate appeal to you on behalf of all the traditional rulers of Nigeria to include the Nigerian, in the Nigerian Constitution, a clear role or function for traditional rulers in the 3 tiers of government.
Abdullahi Garba Bernokudu, NTA News.
Still in Kaduna, stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the state have expressed their unalloyed support to the Jonathan Sambo presidential ticket for what they describe as the president's show of love for the people of the state. This was during an interactive session between the president and the stakeholders as part of the one-day official visit of President Jonathan. Abdullahi Garba again has the report.
It was an opportunity for the People's Democratic Party elders, political appointees and party supporters to interface with the president. They commended the president for the good working relationship with one of their own, Vice President Namadi Sambo, and other laudable projects being executed in the state.
You will see our vote again. And also, we also want to thank you sincerely, Your Excellency, for taking our own father to be your second in command.
We have confidence in you. We thank you. We have 12 ministers. We have so many advisors, all under your administration.
We'd like to assure you of our full support and for the success of the party as well as the success of you coming back as the president of this country.
It was time to make a reawakening call to members in the state to ensure the party wins at all levels in 2015. He stated that Kaduna is a PDP state and must remain so.
As the 2015 elections are coming, PDP must win Kaduna State governorship election. We cannot afford to lose Kaduna State governorship election. And it needs people working extra hard. Not just working hard, but extra hard.
The president has since returned to Abuja. Abdullahi Garba.
Speaker, House of Representatives Amir Waziri Tambol has defected to the All Progressive Congress, or APC. He made this announcement on the floor of the House of Representatives Tuesday plenary. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Okafor has details of the House proceedings.
Honorable colleagues, before I hit the gavel, may I say this to all of you, that pursuant to extant provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and having regards to the development in my home state, Sokoto State, I wish to hereby formally notify all of you of my membership of the All Progressive Congress. Let me register my profound appreciation to all of you, my colleagues, for the unflinching support you have continued to extend to me and the great sacrifice you are making in the pursuit of the overall national interest and development of constitutional democracy.
Meanwhile, members of the All Progressive Congress in the House of Representatives welcomed the Speaker into their fold.
I don't think that the House of Representatives, as presently constituted, has any reason to be afraid that there will be any counter move. The House is a united House under Tambuwa. It's a Nigerian House committed to delivering on the dividends of democracy to the Nigerian people.
In their reactions, some principal officers of the House from the People's Democratic Party have described the action as sad and disappointing, stating that they await a statement from their party.
The provision of Section 50 sub B of the Constitution stipulates very clearly that the Speaker shall emerge, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker shall emerge from members of the House. What we need to do now is to strategize and see how we can defend the interests of our party collectively.
This is an issue that the party will, decide at the appropriate time.
Meanwhile, to provide for the prohibition, prevention, detection, response and prosecution of cybercrimes has passed third reading. The House received a new member from Benue State. Our most representative Olajumoke Okoya Thomas of Lagos State to immortalize late Dr. Stella Adadevo and compensate the families of health workers who died treating patients with Ebola virus disease was adopted. The House adjourned to December 3rd, 2014. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Okafor, NTA News.
Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of Kano State says he is ready to replicate the positive and progressive changes he achieved in Kano State to the entire country if given the opportunity to serve. He announced this in Abuja when he formally declared to contest the presidential position in 2015 under the platform of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Salihu Abdullahi reports that the event took place at the Old Parade Ground, Garki, Abuja.
The venue of the event was agog with supporters of the All Progressive Congress, APC, from across the country. Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of Kano State said it is now time for him to declare his presidential ambition, which he has nurtured since 1991.
I therefore wish to accept this call to formally declare my interest to seek for the presidential ticket of our great party, the APC, in February 2015 general elections.
While expressing confidence from the show of support and love he has received from party supporters, Governor Kwankwaso said his presidential ambition was prompted due to his conviction that security, economic prosperity, corruption, among others.
You can see the youth are for Kwankwaso. You can see the women are for Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso is a man of the moment.
The event was witnessed by top politicians, including governors of Lagos, Zamfara, and Rivers states, as well as some members of the National Assembly. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Still on politics, as the build-up towards the 2015 general elections gain momentum, women issues and their enhanced participation in politics is taking the front burner. Correspondent Aisha Zango Abdullahi reports that the House of Representatives Committee on Women in Parliament and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, assembled female aspirants across political party lines in Abuja to strategize towards their success at the general elections.
The summit with the theme 2015 Elections and Beyond, Strategies and Actions Towards Increasing Women's Political Participation in Nigeria was meant to galvanize female aspirants in order to improve on what is on ground.
The crop of women in the House of Reps and Senate in the General Assembly are making us proud.
Where we have problems as leaders, in the executive session, we have consolation from the women.
Convener of the gathering, Chairman of House of Representatives Committee on Women in Parliament, Binte Bello Megari, said the 7th Assembly has been given attention to issues of women, but that a lot needs to be done.
We need to come together, work together, put our heads together, straighten ourselves so that we can move forward.
It is advantageous for women to protect their interests as a fundamental human rights issue.
The event had in attendance female aspirants and those occupying various political positions across the country, irrespective of party affiliations. In Abuja, Aisha Zango Abdullahi, NTA News.
First Lady then Patience Jonathan has debunked a newspaper report alleging that she requested PDP leaders in Oyo State to accommodate a former governor of the state, Chief Rashidi Lajoda, who is an Accord Party chieftain, into the PDP so as to realize his governorship ambition. In a statement, the First Lady described the report as yet another attempt by mischief makers to loop their self-induced political travels around her office, saying she is neither an elected official of Oyo State nor a party functionary to make such a request. Then Patience Jonathan said her visit to Ibadan was for the sole purpose of commissioning the Oyo State office of her NGO, the Women for Change and Development Initiative, and to distribute empowerment materials to the women of the state. The First Lady therefore cautioned politicians against falsehood and deliberate association of her name with political issues in order to score cheap political gains. She noted that as the mother of the nation and president of the African First Ladies Peace Mission, her role still remains that of advocacy for peace and development, which she will continue to champion, particularly as the 2015 general elections approaches. The Senate has urged the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, involve the international community, particularly the refugee agencies, in addressing the humanitarian crises in parts of the country occasioned by terrorism and insurgency. In a unanimous resolution on the status of refugees in the affected areas, the lawmakers announced a donation of 20 million naira in an aid for the internally displaced persons as a mark of concern and commitment to their plight. National Assembly correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
The Deputy Senate Leader, Abdul Nengi, in a matter of urgent public importance, alerted the Senate on the various shortcomings relating to the care of the nearly 2 million internally displaced persons affected by the Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast.
The most painful aspect of this crisis, Mr. President, is the lack of attention by the international community to this particular unfortunate human tragedy.
Making no reference to the pronouncement on the ceasefire between government and Boko Haram, senators took turns in support of the motion, expressing serious concern over the plight of the displaced and called for immediate response in a holistic manner in the interest of the country.
Their situation, Mr. President, is very, very pathetic. And our people are desperate and require desperate measures.
We must, as a nation, look at these persons with a greater sense of keenness and a greater sense of urgency.
In the oncoming budget, we should make special and specific provisions for internally displaced persons.
The earlier they go in there to crush the people, the better for us.
The law adopted the motion and called on the federal and state governments to work out a comprehensive action plan towards bringing succor and relief to the troubled communities.
We are in a war situation. We have a serious problem on our hands, and we must find a solution to it.
In the meantime, the Senate President David Mark has formally transmitted the 1999 Constitution Fourth Alteration Bill to the Conference of State Assembly Speakers for further legislative action. At a colorful but remarkable event in the Senate auditorium, both the Senate President and Speaker Aminu Waziri Tambuwal pleaded with the state assemblies to do the needful towards deepening democracy and strengthening government institutions for effective service delivery.
And I want to just urge that we do what is right, what is in the best interest of our current democratic system, and what will bring governance nearer and closer to the people.
You must seize the moment to be part of the process of bequeathing to Nigeria a constitution that will further drive the democratic practice forward and devolve more responsibilities to the states.
The chairman of the Constitution Review Committees of both the Senate and House of Representatives, Deputy Senate President Ike Ikeramadu and Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha, said the National Assembly acted in the best interest of the country in all the sections amended. The Chairman Conference of Speakers, Samuel Ikon, promised that the state legislators will play their roles devoid of any fear or influence to advance the cause of democracy. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Nigerian aviation sector under the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan has made giant strides, thereby putting the country on the global map. These include 100% radar coverage of the nation's airspace and the retention of the Category 1 certification of the Federal Aviation Authority of the United States of America.
Another thing that we as Nigerians should be proud of, and which is attained under the leadership of President Ebele Jonathan, is the first African to be elected as or appointed as president of the ICAO Council. That is Dr. Aliyu, who is a Nigerian, who is one of us, and today he holds that #1 position.
Details of the transformational strides in the Nigerian aviation sector will come up immediately after the network news tonight. All NTA stations are advised to remain on the network service. We have more aspirants picking their party's nomination tickets or forms after this break.
Form the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Change is never easy. It was not easy for Dr. Martin Luther King when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore from third world to first world. It was not easy. They stoned him. It was not easy for Nelson Mandela.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
It was not easy for Barack Obama. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Dr. Martin Luther King did it. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did it. Nelson Mandela did it. Barack Obama did it. Goodluck Jonathan is doing it. He is transforming Nigeria. Mr. President, Keep doing it. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce someone special here tonight whose understanding, knowledge, and support has truly made our juice company prosper.
I wonder what goes into making this.
You'd be amazed. It often starts from the farm, where fresh fruits are grown and carefully sorted, and straight on to the factory, where they are pressed, processed, and packaged. Then off they go again, this time to large distributors like you, and retail shops, where people buy and pay with ease.
You seem to know quite a lot about this. You work for the juice company then?
I suppose I do.
Please join me in welcoming our business banking service partner, Stanbic IBTC Bank, to partnerships that move us forward. Stanbic IBTC Bank, moving forward.
Johnny S5.5, the slimmest in the world. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved. Johnny, 28 days standby time. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved.
Inform all JETS coordinators in the 36 states ministries of education and the states universal basic education boards, FCT, and the general public that the JETS competition, earlier scheduled for 2nd to 11th November 2014, has been postponed. The new date for the competition is 18th to 26th November 2014. Arrival 18th November. Departure 26th November. Venue Women Development Center, Abuja. All inconveniences are regretted. Dr. McJohn Wabella, Permanent Secretary, Announcer. The Pension Transition Arrangement Directorate will hold a sensitization workshop on pension management under the Defined Benefit Scheme in the Southeast Zone. Participants, pensioners, Nigerian Union of Pensioners representatives, sector unions representatives in parasitas pension, police, civil service and paramilitary, pension board of trustees, underwriters and brokers of peoples. Participants from Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu and Imo states are invited to attend the workshop as specified below. Date, Thursday, 30th October 2014. Time, 9 a.m. Venue, Ingrace Event Center, Plot 4, Port Harcourt Expressway, Independence Layout, Enugu. For further information, please check This Day and the Sun newspapers, October 29th, 2014, or contact us on 08081775358. Management Announcer.
Ebola is a deadly disease,
but
there are ways
we can prevent infection
and protect ourselves. First,
wash fruits thoroughly. Disinfect floors and surfaces regularly.
Avoid contact with infected carcasses.
Avoid bushmeat.
Wash and sanitize your hands regularly.
Together,
we all
can overcome Ebola.
Do not take a risk with your life and your loved ones.
Health is priceless.
Stop Ebola. It's in your hands.
It's in your hand.
It's in your hand.
It's in your hand.
It's in your hands. It's in your hands.
It is in your hands.
It's in your hands.
This public message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health and Detour.
The Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Affairs announces the holding of a public affairs forum with the theme, Jonathan Transformation, 4 Impactful Years. The forum is an interactive session between top government functionaries and the public on the milestone recorded by President Goodluck Jonathan's transformation agenda in the last 4 years. The Public Affairs Forum will feature ministers of finance, education, aviation, agriculture, works, transport, health, trade and investment, and water resources. Date, Thursday 30th and Friday 31st October 2014, and Monday 3rd and Tuesday 4th November 2014. Time, 12 to 2 p.m. daily. Venue, Nikon Luxury Hotel, Abuja. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Signed, Dr. Doyin Okukbe, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Affairs.
Transformation ambassadors of Nigeria.
My good people of Nigeria, does anybody use mirror to look at what they have at hand? No! Good luck at the ingredients of life. Automobile industries, full encouragement. Second Niger bridge from mirage to reality. Good luck! Railways, seaports and airports are come back to modern life. Good luck! Or a Benin highway and other federal highways from dead trap to modern spectacle. Good luck! There you are. Petrol and nyaf with control price and so many other etc. Good luck I do. Good luck are going to do. And good luck will be yours. Are you see what I'm saying? Only good luck affects the security challenges of Nigeria with honesty and commitment. Fighting terror.
Good luck continue for Nigeria.
This message is brought to you courtesy Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Down for One Vision, Nigeria.
The television revolution started with WNTV Ibadan in 1959, and as time went by, it metamorphosed into the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Ibadan, an arm of the national network incorporating other early regional channels in the east, north, and the south. As part of the anniversary marking the 55th year of the arrival of the magic box called television in Nigeria, a powerful symposium will be held in Ibadan, where it all began many years ago. Theme, Transformation of Television in Nigeria. Chairman, Dr. Christopher Kolade, Pioneer DG FRCN. Speakers, Engineer Vincent Maduka, First DG NTA, on television in Africa, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Mr. Emeka Mba, DG NBC, on digitization, Alhaji Adegboyega Arulogun, and Dr. Christopher Kolade, reminiscences on television in Nigeria. The symposium holds on Thursday, 30th October 2014 at the Studio 3 of the Nigerian Television Authority, Ibadan. Time is 10 a.m. Chief host, Mr. Shola Omole, DG NTA. Host, Pauline Igbano, ZD, NTA Ibadan Network Center. It promises to be a memory-tingling event. Don't be told. Join us.
The race for the People's Democratic Party ticket continues as Adamawa State Governor James Nglari and Benue State Deputy Governor Stephen Lawani reaffirmed their interest in the PDP gubernatorial ticket at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja. Political correspondent Femi Johnson has the report.
The governor of Adamawa State, in a message, says the people of the state yearn for more positive development and peaceful coexistence, hence his decision to declare interest.
We promise you that Bala James Nglari will give the appropriate leadership and Adamawa will be won landslide.
Benue State Deputy Governor Chief Stephen Lawani noted that he now has the experience to continue Governor Suswam's legacy.
I believe I have the sufficient motivation to take the state forward to the next level.
Senator Gada is also seeking Sokoto State ticket. Former Plateau Governor Senator Joshua Dariye and wife of former PDP National Chairman Mrs. Miriam Ali submitted their forms for the senatorial seats.
Oneness in unity, and we are all clamoring for good governance. And this good governance I'm going to deliver to them.
The PDP National Organizing Secretary, Abubakar Mustafa, reassured all the aspirants of a level playing ground. In Abuja, Femi Johnson, NTA News.
Former Information Minister Labaran Mako says he will lay the foundation for the transformation and modernization of Nasarawa State for peace and development when elected governor in 2015. Correspondent Anthony Labaran Mako was speaking at the PDP headquarters in Lafia when a coalition of youth groups presented him with the PDP nomination forms.
The coalition of the youth groups under the umbrella of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Nasarawa State Chapter, had purchased the governorship form for Labaran Mako at the party's headquarters in Abuja. While expressing gratitude for the honor done him, he said the party remains the only hope for the restoration of peace and tranquility in the state.
They have already taken position to end the party of violence in our state. Has achieved the things that I have brought to National State as Minister of Labor and Economic.
The former minister expressed gratitude to President Goodluck Jonathan for the honor and opportunity given him to serve at one of the nation's highest decision-making body in the country. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
One of the PDP aspirants for Oyo State governorship seat, Sheyi Makinde, has submitted his nomination and express of intent forms with a pledge to develop the state in 4 key sectors. Mayor Ogiri reports that the aspirant was accompanied to the PDP National Secretariat by his supporters.
The aspirant, accompanied by PDP chieftains, submitted his form to the organizing secretary of the party, Abubakar Mustafa.
A grassroots politician and effective mobilizer from Oyo State. Indeed, your name is household name.
The aspirant says he is prepared to impact more positively on his people if given the opportunity.
Healthcare, agriculture, education, and physical infrastructure. Once we're able to focus on that, on those core areas, we do know that our people, will be taken out of poverty.
He loves youth, he loves women, he loves widows.
Given his antecedents, this is the kind of man they need at this point in time.
Mr. Sheyi Makinde promised to embark on rancor-free campaigns in his bid to capture the party flag as PDP is one family. In Abuja, Mie Ogidi, NTS.
The Rivers State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has expressed gratitude to the leadership of the party for adopting President Goodluck Jonathan for the 2015 presidential election. State chairman of the party, Felix Obua, stated this when the former Minister of State Education, Nyesom Wike, visited the party's state working committee at the PDP Secretariat in Port Harcourt. Dagogo Isaac has the report.
Felix Obua, who received Chief Nyesom Wike and his team, urged PDP faithful in Rivers State to continue to galvanize support for President Goodluck Jonathan and the PDP in the 2015 general elections. The chairman emphasized that the PDP in Rivers State would not adopt any candidate in the 2015 elections and reminded the gathering of the need for the PDP to reclaim its mandate come 2015.
We have said we are going to create level playing ground for all the aspirants so that their power that belongs to the people, now the people use that power and elect who will rule them.
Chief Nyesom Wike told the state working committee,
give us your support. It doesn't matter where anybody comes from. I want free and fair election. As he said, vote for the aspirant of your choice, but we believe he's going to make it.
From the PDP Secretariat in Port Harcourt, Dagogo Isaac, NTA News.
A governorship aspirant under the platform of the PDP in Abia State, Dr. Okezie Victor Ekbiazu, has formally declared his intention to contest the state governorship election next year. Dr. Ekbiazu stated this in Umuahia while presenting himself to the party at the PDP Secretariat. Dennis Temple reports.
Dr. Ekbiazu stormed the party secretariat amidst pomp and pageantry to present himself to his party. Explaining why he is contesting, he said his intention to run is driven by his desire to continue with the policy direction of the PDP-led government in the state.
I am a thoroughly homebred politician. I said to you too that I have not been anywhere far from my people. I intend to grow Abia State with you.
Many of his supporters testified of the credible conduct of the aspiring governor as one who has contributed immensely to the development of the state. They have expressed the view that the party would provide a level playing ground for all contestants during the party primaries. In Umuahia, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
A coalition of various political organizations from Olu Zone in Imo State has enjoined Senator Hope Uzodimma, representing Imo West Senatorial District, to contest the senatorial seat in the 2015 general elections. They supported their request with the purchase of the express of interest and nomination forms for Senator Uzodimma. Timothy Yusuf has the report.
Representatives of the coalition of many political organizations from Olu Zone, comprising 12 local government areas. To them, Senator Hope Uzodimma, who is also leader of the Southeast Caucus in the National Assembly, has performed creditably and should continue to represent the zone in the Senate.
The decision of our senator to go back to the Senate and continue with his good work is hereby endorsed by all of us.
Hope is a committed party man. You must acknowledge a man who is great. For what?
They mentioned Senator Uzodimma's remarkable performance as Chairman Senate Committee on Aviation, adding that he has touched many lives through his many life-enhancing constituency and empowerment projects.
That he will succeed, he will have victory, and he will lead our people to desired expectation. God bless.
Solidly behind him because we must pay him back for all this he has been doing to us, and he
actually has performed wonderfully well. It's not an exaggeration. It's not a...
The group enjoined Senator Hope Uzodimma to accept their offer. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Minister of Power Chendu Nebo says the federal government is concluding arrangements with power generation and distribution stakeholders to bridge the gap in the metering system to avoid arbitrary domestic billing. Musa Toliad says the minister stated this at a Power Nigeria conference and exhibition in Lagos.
Professor Chinedu Nebo, who declared the three-day power conference and exhibition opened, told the gathering that, in spite of the fact that the country generates 4,500 megawatts, which is grossly insufficient, an event such as the power conference is capable of fast-tracking the quest for improved power infrastructure and supply. The Minister of Power, however, called for more private sector participation in renewable energy development to complement the hydropower system in the country.
Renewables are the best ways to get to the rural communities and communities that are far-flung from the national grid. So those who are in renewables, especially with regard to solar, do a lot more to deploy this kind of technology.
Professor Nebo later shed more light on the efforts being made to bridge the gap in the metering system.
The metering gap is so wide in Nigeria. At a time it was estimated to be 2.7 million. And it's even said that it's as much as 8 million that will be needed in the next 1 or 2 years in order to meet the metering gap. That is why we are hoping that if any money goes to the discos from this stabilization funding, it has to go into metering.
The three-day power conference focused on 5 core areas, including lighting, renewable energy, nuclear, water engineering, and power. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
From power to the coroner's inquest, a forensic expert, Professor John Obafunwa of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, has testified that none of the bodies recovered from the synagogue collapse building in Lagos had any burns associated with fire or explosion. Professor Obafunwa, who is the Chief Medical Examiner, Department of Pathology and Vice Chancellor, Lagos State University, disclosed this in his testimony at the coroner inquest in Lagos alongside other witnesses. Olajide Bello has the details.
While being cross-examined, Professor John Obafunwa disclosed that 46 bodies were deposited at Isolo General Hospital, 7 at Lagos State Teaching Hospital, and 63 at mainland mortuaries, respectively, where they are being embalmed to arrest further decomposition. The Vice-Chancellor added that a team of pathologists and dental surgeons was put together to commence with forensic autopsy, internal examination, documentation, as well as take samples for DNA analysis. The consultant pathologist disclosed that in 2 weeks' time, a comprehensive report would have been made available for deposition to the coroner. The second witness representing Lagos State Ministry of Works, Engineer Oladotun Lasoju, stated that the ministry is still waiting for results from the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. NEMA's witness Ibrahim Fariloye, who is the head of Search and Rescue Southwest, said at the end of the rescue, a total of 86 dead bodies were recovered and 131 persons were rescued.
Some TA materials of the families of our affected people.
is that the bodies will go home soon. That is our expectation.
It is based on the number of people that are trapped that can assist you, which were not available to rescue us throughout the period.
In Lagos, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Dial star 401 hash to activate.
Are those that want to divide Nigeria to take us back to another time, but the future belongs to you. Together we have built the largest economy in Africa, and now we must lift up every Nigerian child in every region, strengthen education, keep building a modern infrastructure, better roads, the energy, water, and prosperity to lift up every family. We can't go back. The future is hard work, but we are building it together. Good luck, Jonathan. One Nigeria, moving forward together.
Have you blown someone's mind lately? The season of surprises premieres across Nigeria on November 1st. Prepare to surprise. Prepare to be surprised. MTN, everywhere you go.
Johnny S5.5, the slimmest in the world. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved.
I need a great deal, the best price I can get. That's why I shop on Jumia. We've got some orders, fire on all cylinders. We'll not rest until it's packaged and delivered. Do everything it to take. Maybe you know we ain't got time to waste. Customer satisfaction is the way. We're not gonna stop until it's okay. Oh yeah, let's do this. Put our best into this. The online so you can trust. We're not gonna stop until it's okay. From the east to the west, we're going the distance. Put a smile on your face. Quality you can trust. You can count on us. Nationwide delivery. We make shopping easier. National delivery. When you shop on Jumia.
Jumia, the online shop you can trust.
Chivita Active Fruit Juice, unique quality blend of 6 citrus fruit juices with added vitamin C. It's the perfect choice of refreshment for an active lifestyle. Want to dance? Chivita Active. Be active. Do more. Get more out of life.
House of Chi. New Camay body lotion. He's always so busy, but no need to worry. I know my way to his heart. New Camay lotion with oils for moisture, long-lasting moisture that lasts so long, all day long.
Your skin glows.
I know it glows.
Skin so soft.
Oh, what a glow!
You're the queen of my heart.
I'm a Camay kind of woman.
Federal government implements the elimination of value-added tax VAT on stock market transaction fees. And stakeholders in the cocoa industry appeal for more collaboration to reposition Nigeria in the global cocoa market. Details with Chazalam Ikie on Business News.
Good evening and welcome to Business News. Given the importance of cocoa to Nigeria's economy, stakeholders in the industry have called for an unwavering commitment to reposition Nigeria in the global cocoa markets, noting that with today's price of cocoa still at the highest level in the last years, Nigeria should extract immense value out of the industry.
We need to engender qualitative and quantitative value addition for the purpose of job creation and economic development. And doing that will achieve real growth for every stakeholder and Nigeria.
World's cocoa production is used for confectionaries, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals. It accounts for over $100 billion a year. In the meantime, the Nigerian Stock Exchange says the exemption of value-added tax on all commissions applicable to capital market transactions is now effective. According to a statement by the NSE, the development followed the implementation of measures announced by Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala on December 3, 2012, to resuscitate the Nigerian capital markets. The commissions are those earned on traded values of shares and payable to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the NSE, and the Central Securities Clearing System. And just before we go, look at the graphic details of the day's trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And that's it on business. I am Chiazalam Eki. The news continues.
216 local governments are to benefit from the 2014 conditional grant scheme to the councils to scale up the Millennium Development Goals. Senior Special Assistant to the President on MDGs, Dr. Precious Benel, explained that the projects were cited across areas of greatest needs in the participating councils. Correspondent Claire Adelabu Adrazak reports.
MDGs Nigeria launched a development planning tool called the Nigerian MDGs Information System (NMIS) at the 2014 pre-implementation workshop for stakeholders at the local government level. Senior Special Assistant to the President on MDGs, Dr. Precious Benol, said 2014 projects will reflect areas of greatest needs for each participating local government.
This year, we'll be intervening in 216 local governments. We've already had proposals evaluated across 216 local governments. This will increase our investment and intervention in 687 local governments.
She said citing of the project was effectively done with the MDGs Information System (NMIS) using 2010-2014 nationwide baseline facility inventory and needs assessment. Participants at the workshop, including Deputy Governor of Anambra State, noted government's commitment to attaining the MDGs. In Abuja, Claire Adelabu Abdulrazak, NTA News.
Community conflicts and youth militancy in Nigeria and the challenge of democratic practice is engaging the attention of some stakeholders towards a hitch-free 2015 elections. A non-governmental organization under the aegis of Al-Mustafa Peace, Unity and Development Initiative is midwifing the peaceful resolution of ethno-religious conflicts in Nigeria. Correspondent Mohammed Abdul Qadir has the report.
In sub-Saharan Africa, like in other parts of the world, conflicts have become common occurrences. Nigeria, as a subset of the global community, has been experiencing conflicts since pre-colonial to colonial and post-colonial independent periods. As part of efforts for sustainable peace building, mediation, and conflict resolution in Nigeria, the Al-Mustafa Peace, Unity, and Development Initiative is holding an international conference to be flagged off in northern Nigeria.
We intend to evolve or create ideas that will support peace building, peace education.
We want to sensitize and share ideas and strategies on new frontiers of conflict management in Nigeria.
In Abuja, Muhammad Abdul Qadir, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Health has dispatched its emergency response team to contain the recent outbreak of Lassa fever in Oyo State. The Minister of State and Supervising Minister for Health, Dr. Tahir Al-Hassan, said this when he paid an unscheduled visit to some tertiary health facilities in Abuja. Dr. Al-Hassan said his visit was one of his strategies aimed at getting to know more about various challenges being faced by the hospitals with a view to solving them. This, he added, will boost the morale of health workers and possibly reposition the health sector for better service delivery. Speaking on the ongoing strike by the National Union of Health Professionals, the minister said that the strike action is a breach of negotiation on the part of the unions because Discussion between the government and the union is still on. Such distraction is uncalled for. The hospitals visited by Hospital, Federal Staff Medical Center, Jabi, and the General Hospital, Maitama. The Minister of State Foreign Affairs and Supervising Minister of Information, Dr. Nuruddin Mohammed, has held audience with President Faure Gnassingbe of Togo at a special envoy of President Jonathan. Cordelia Okoma reports that the meeting centered on Togo's forthcoming presidential election. Up ahead, sports and more news. Don't go away.
The issue of local government autonomy is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, incisive, educative, informative, and engaging. Don't be told. Join us.
I need a great deal, the best price I can get. That's why I do, yeah. We got some orders, higher on all cylinders. We'll not rest until it's packaged and delivered. Do everything it to take. Shape, you know we ain't got time to waste. Customer satisfaction is the way. We're not gonna stop until it's okay. Oh yeah, let's do this. Put our best into this. The online so you can trust. We're not gonna stop until it's okay.
Jumia, the online shop you can trust.
Johnny M2, 28 days standby time. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved.
National Pension Commission (PENCOM) hereby announces to its major stakeholders that a one-day conference on the Pension Reformed Act 2014 with its theme, a sensitization of major stakeholders on development ushered in by the Pension Reformed Act 2014 will hold as follows. Date, Thursday, 30th October 2014. Venue, City Hall, Catholic Mission Street, Lagos Island, Lagos. Time, 8 a.m. prompt. Topics: Introduction, importance of the contributory pension scheme, the role and powers of PENCOM as a regulator, mechanics and operations of contributory pension scheme and retirement savings account (RSA), the role of different actors in the contributory pension scheme, especially PFAs and PFCs, investment of pension funds under the new regime, the transition by public and private sectors from the defined benefit to defined contributory schemes. Participants are drawn from both public and private sectors. Announcer, Management, National Pension Commission.
United Nations takes stock of Ebola response to West Africa as Australia bans issuance of visas to Ebola-hit countries. These and more on Global Tidbits with correspondent Roinke Kolawole.
The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power, has visited the Sierra Leone capital, Freetown, to assess the shortcomings in global response to the Ebola virus disease in West Africa. Meanwhile, Australia has stopped humanitarian and immigration visas from West African countries affected by Ebola outbreak. In Germany, a one-day international conference has been held on Syrian refugees. 40 countries and organizations who participate and that host countries like Lebanon should be given special attention and support. In Warsaw, Poland is drawing up a long-term plan to shift some of its military strength towards its eastern border, closer to Ukraine and Russia. This is against the backdrop of fear that it could be the next target for Kremlin expansion. From Japan comes a report that the main opposition party has on Tuesday vowed to trail the string of cabinet funding scandals alleged against the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, describing economic program Abenomics as a failure. For Global Tidbits, Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
And our sports with Amanzi Marcus.
As the National Sports Commission continues its peace initiatives within members of the Nigerian football family, Sports Minister Tami Denagogo has directed the Nigerian Football Federation to commence preparations for the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup in Canada, where Nigeria's Super Falcons are among the qualifiers. Speaking during a reception for the victorious contingent at the Abuja National Stadium, and should have their names written in the Sports Hall of Fame, saying their patriotism is exemplary and should be emulated by all Nigerians.
I want to call on corporate Nigeria to please begin to have interest in female football the same way they have in the male football.
Coach Edwin Okon and NFF President Amaju Pinnick both said the 7th Africa Women Championship title is a sign of more trophies to be won.
This pride of Nigerians will come here in a bigger, better forum, and at the end of the day, we are going to lift the World Trophy.
Our National Men's Basketball Division II Championship began on Monday at the Package B section of the Abuja National Stadium, with 6 teams competing for the sole slot to progress to Division I of the National Basketball League. President of the Nigeria Olympics Committee, Sani Ndanusa, and MBBF President Tijani Umar advised the players to play by the rules, as more platforms will be provided for them to excel in the game.
So we want to say to you athletes, sky is your limit.
We are realizing our dream of strengthening the structure of basketball.
In the opening match, Enugu in white lost to Nasarawa 51 to 57 points.
The remains of Deaconess Agnes Ukeze, the mother of the managing director of the news agency of Nigeria, Imani Boro, will be laid to rest at her residence in Emevo, Delta State, on Friday, the 7th of November 2014. This will be after a wake on Thursday, 6th November, at the James Welch Grammar School, Emevo, and lying in state at Agnes Ukeze House of Prayer, United Believers Mission, Emevo Model Parish. A Thanksgiving service will hold on Saturday, 8th November, at the same church. Residents of Abuja experienced a deluge early this evening that was accompanied by storms that caused havoc on certain parts of the city. One of the areas affected is the NTA headquarters premises, where trees fell, rooftops blown off, and buildings were shattered. For more on the weather now, here is the outlook.